are you drinking a whole fifth of vodka on the weekends?
No.
No, thank you.
Thank you for asking.
I'm glad you were not impaired in that way.
Oh, I thought you were asking. You were just saying these are some questions we could ask.
We could ask.
Other people, not me.
Not you. So, hi there, everyone. I'm Beth.
And I'm Deb.
And this is the Beth and Deb show. And today's video is going to be just a little bit different because we're really wanting to talk with coaches, faculty, teachers who work with adolescents or college students, teenagers, about they're pretty hard topics, I think, for people who aren't in the mental health field. And so we wanted to talk a little bit about kind of the big ones that you're more likely to see if you're a parent or a teacher or a coach. So anxiety, depression, people, I think, get really nervous about panic attacks. And so we want to talk a little bit about what's normal, what are things that, like, when is it okay for me to be talking with them about it? When do I refer out because I'm not qualified, and things to look for and maybe what to do. So give us a lowdown on, what's normal.
The lowdown.
What's normal anxiety or depression or panic attacks?
Well, I think that's really difficult, especially with this age group, because there's such a wide range of what's normal and what's to be expected. If you've ever had a teenager or worked with young people, you know that they can be all over the place, right? So everybody, even, adults have ups and down days. We all go through times where we're just not quite feeling like ourselves. We feel sad or even anxious. And for kids, teenagers, and college age students, they're going through a lot of life changes and stressors. So it's natural for them to have changes in mood and anxiety based on just adjusting to all of the things that are going on. So it really is important to not overreact, but not underreact either by just saying, well, they're just going through a phase. If there's something going on that maybe needs more attention. So normal depression and anxiety would be, they may feel distressed, but it's not really heavily impacting their ability to function. It's not causing severe distress and just mayhem, I guess, in their lives. So you were saying about the acronym that you found that can help you judge. Yeah,
which I'm not sure it's a great acronym that we sort of put together, but
we're going to take it back for mental health.
Yes, ISIS, ISIS. It's almost like SOS in my mind, but
IS is.
Yeah. So impact, suicide, impairment, and sleep. And so, if it's the periodic, like I feel kind of down, I'm having a hard time getting to class or to practice.
Or I don't want to go to class, but I'm able to drag myself out of bed and do it. Or I missed one or two classes and, but I'm going to just jump back on board. That's normal. We all go through that. But what kind of impact are we talking about with?
Yeah, if it's having a strong impact on your grades, right? So let's say you've missed, 3 weeks of class and now you're failing 2 of your 3 classes, right? Or maybe it's impacting your relationships. Maybe people are starting to say things to you like they're frustrated with you, or, you're getting angrier in your relationships, like you've lost your job. That kind of impact.
That's a pretty big impact. Or you're just not socializing at all. Like if you withdraw so much, you stay in your room and don't respond to texts or different things like that. Those are signs to look for.
Yeah. And so if you are the adult who's working with these young adults or these teenagers, I think it's looking at across the board, is it impacting them? And, should I step in or shouldn't I? Again, one of these kind of things to look out for. Impact. Suicide, if they are talking about suicide, and this is really tricky. We've done another show, a couple of shows actually, on suicide and how hard it is for people to feel like they can talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still the myth that if I talk about it,
yes,
I'm planting an idea.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it just is just such a myth that really what they want for you to ask,
Mm-hmm.
if they're having suicidal thoughts, they want someone to ask, like, are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
Have you had thoughts of hurting yourself? And if their answer is yes, your response should not be freak out, oh my gosh, we need to call a professional right now.
Right,
Should I call 911?
Go to the emergency room,
Yes.
or
It is
straight
not
to the
that.
psych ward.
Right.
You know, that's not.
Yeah, it's only
helpful.
going to make things worse.
Yeah.
Right. So impact, suicide,
Mm-hmm.
impairment. And so it's similar to impact, but it's almost like it might also be something within yourself. Like
Mhm.
how impaired are you really compared to who
You were before.
You were
Mhm.
or you are without the cloud of depression, or
Right.
without the fear of the anxiety. And so how much impairment do you have both for yourself but also compared to other people your age?
Yeah.
You know, are you drinking a whole fifth of vodka on the weekends to
No.
cope? No, thank
I'm not.
you.
Thank you for asking.
I'm glad you were not impaired in that way.
Oh, I thought you were asking. You were just saying these are some questions we could ask
Hypothetically, we could ask.
other people, not me.
Not you. Impact, suicide, impairment, and sleep, right? So if they come
Yes.
and they say they're not sleeping.
Or they're sleeping too much.
Sleeping too much,
Mhm.
absolutely, one side or the other. It's also kind of a red flag for you to be aware of that sleep is highly impacted by mental health problems,
Yes.
and it's exacerbated by, so it makes them worse.
Yes, it can. It's like a dual relationship back and forth forever.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's our acronym: impact, suicide, impairment, and sleep. And I think one other thing is trying to decide, okay, they've got some of these red flags.
Mhm.
I know I need to refer them to
Yeah.
a mental health therapist. I think there's a way that you can still be genuine and in relationship with that person without just automatically saying, you need to go see a counselor.
somewhere else. Yeah.
Because that message is like, I'm rejecting you
Mm-hmm.
because you're too much for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that message I've heard a lot from clients in therapy,
Mhm.
you know, where they're like, I'm too much, I'm too much, I'm too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
And so I think it's saying, you know, maybe you come up with another way of saying, like, I care a lot about you.
Mhm.
I just know that I want to find another way to support you.
Yeah, like I don't have the expertise that you need, you know, to deal with this. I can support you in these certain ways, but we need some expertise in this situation.
Yeah, I'm happy to call with you.
Yeah.
I'm happy to go with you. I'm happy to look up places or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
and I think there are some great screeners that are available, especially for student athletes, where there might be another layer of stress for working students, for first generation students. I think any of those subgroups, but there are some great screening tools for depression, anxiety,
Mhm.
stress, you know, all sorts of mental health
Mhm.
issues. So if you just look up screening tools, do not self-diagnose.
Right.
I think there's always the caution there, but the NCAA actually has put mental health at the, you know, toward the top of its priority list,
Mhm.
which I think is great. And they have created this mental health toolkit that includes a lot of screeners
Mhm.
and just for coaches and adults to be aware of kind of the baseline level of where the student
Yeah.
athletes are. So that might be another thing.
Yeah, and even if you just want to have a conversation with somebody that uses those, the impact, suicide, impairment, sleep, you know, what are some ways? So let's have a conversation. Let's say, do you want to be the student or the
I'll be the student.
person? Okay.
Mhm.
So I'll give you an idea of what maybe you can say using those factors to say, you know, Beth, I have noticed that maybe you've been struggling a little bit lately, and I'm wondering, like, how much you feel like we've talked about you're going through something right now, not feeling like yourself. How much would you say that you are not able to do the things that you want to be able to do day to day? Like, do you feel like this is really keeping you from, like, doing your schoolwork, hanging out with friends, going to work, being on time to things, working on projects?
I think definitely. I think, I've just been so tired. I just don't feel like doing anything. And, who even cares anyway? Like, I don't care about any of it. Doesn't matter.
Okay, so are you tired because you're not sleeping, or what's going on with that?
Yeah, I just can't fall asleep, or some days I'll sleep a lot, and then other days it's like 3 or 4 in the morning and I still haven't fallen asleep, or sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and then I can't go back to sleep, and I try not to, sometimes I play video games for a while because sometimes if I drink it helps.
Okay.
Sometimes if I drink a lot, it really helps. I just don't know what else to do because it feels like my mind is going crazy.
Yeah, it sounds like it's really having a lot of impact on your ability to succeed and kind of do things in your normal life.
And my friends are, they're kind of being jerks, because they just like kind of stop calling,
So you're not hanging out with friends as much anymore?
No, probably not. I mean, my one friend doesn't drink at all, and so I guess she doesn't want to be around me. I don't know.
Yeah. If you don't mind, I want to go back to what you said a second ago you said things just it doesn't seem like you care, things don't seem to matter to you anymore. Have you ever, thought of hurting yourself, or do you think about dying or suicide or anything like that?
I know, I would never actually, do that, but I do kind of think about, maybe life would be better if I weren't around, or, maybe they'd be happier if I weren't here, or I think about, who might come to my funeral or something.
So you think about it sometimes, but you don't really have, a plan to do anything to hurt yourself?
No, I mean, because I really would never be courageous enough to do that, so.
Okay. Well, I hope you don't mind me saying this concerns me a lot because I care about you, and some of the things you've said would indicate to me that you could use some help. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about it a little bit because, they have, that person on campus,
That person, yes, yep. Jennifer?
Yeah.
On campus here, yeah.
I'm just not sure that I feel like, there's other people who probably have it worse off than I do, and, she probably doesn't want to hear me complain about my problems, so I just have been a little just talking about it isn't going to help anyway.
Well, that's one way to look at it, but I think that it is important what you're going through. You don't have to go through it alone, and you don't have to just keep trying to figure out, use drinking or whatever else you can. There are things that can help. And I don't have that expertise myself, but I can definitely help you find somebody and find the resources where you can get back to feeling like your old self, like things matter to you, and, that's something that I would love to see for you because I really believe that you have a lot of potential, and I want to help you reach that if I can. What do you say?
That means a lot to me.
Okay. So that was just an example of how a conversation might go. Now, you are a good, forthcoming sort of person. Might be a little different if you have a young person who really isn't interested in, telling you what's going on behind the scenes. So you might have to, pry it out. Yeah, dig a little bit more, but that's just an example of some ways that you could phrase things and express your concern without being their therapist,
And I think it matters a lot to have the relationship. I think just kind of staying in the relationship.
Yes.
And letting them know that you care about them. And, it was always threaded through this lens of, I'm not judging you. I don't think you're stupid for saying these things. And that matters.
Yeah, yes. And that there's hope for the person, and that you are willing to be someone who comes in to recognize how much they're struggling, and that you'd be willing to support them through it.
Yeah, that's great. You're a good therapist.
Oh my God. Thank you. That means a lot.
All right. So.
Okay. So we didn't really talk about panic attacks, but those can be scary, I think.
They really can. And I think depending on the level,
Yeah.
I think sometimes if they're like a true panic attack, the clinical definition of a panic attack where there's a spike and it's sort of unprompted, and I feel like I'm going crazy and my heart is racing and I can't breathe and I can't catch my breath.
Yes. It feels very out of control.
Out of control.
People don't know how to handle it or what to do in response to it. And it can be hard if you're witnessing it in someone else. You don't know what to do to talk them through it because they're just too, it's just all too overwhelming.
The thing that doesn't help is when someone says calm down.
Yeah.
So if you are around someone and you sense and they're saying like I'm about to have a panic attack, really the best thing you can do is just kind of be there with them.
Yes.
Maybe if you want to, just put your arm on their shoulder or you can put your hand on their arm or something just to let them know that you're there and they're not alone because that's really the scariest part.
You could remind them to breathe. And
that's
say,
true. Take a breath.
This will end. This isn't going to last forever. Just kind of breathe through it, and it'll go away on its own. Eventually, not that calm down. You just have to calm down. It's all in your head. That's not helpful.
Yeah. No.
But if you can remind them, they're not going crazy. They're not having a heart attack. They just need to, breathe and maybe try to be present. As long as you can be present with the person, and then get them some help.
Yeah. I mean, panic attacks really aren't, I guess maybe at one here or there, but really panic attack is really a symptom of something. You probably should talk with someone about it.
Sure, yeah. There are techniques that can help people to cope with having panic attacks and reduce.
Yeah. So, all right, so that was just a kind of a quick run.
Mishmash of things for you.
Yep. Anxiety, depression, sort of panic attacks. Okay. See you later.
Next time.